What's up, everybody? This is Joey, and I'm going to show you what I do when I want to blow up some steam. So I have a old truck that I've been working on. Some of you guys may know it. Others, you're going to learn about it pretty quickly. But I have an old truck that I've been building for the last 2 years now. I spent a lot of time on getting the motor right, getting the transmission right. And I learned today that one of the parts that I have in the truck is failing. So I'm going to take that part out, and I'm just going to show you guys how I do it. All right, so let's start by how we do this. So what you see right here, this is obviously my shop. This is where I get a lot of the work done. I got my little workbench section over here. Hiding underneath this is my little bench grinder, which, let me move this out of the way. Right, and I turn this on when I got to either polish metal, or if I'm like using an abrasive wheel to get some metal off some of the parts I work on. Another bench grinder, but this one's used for if I got to take off like actual metal, like shave it down, and then another small wire wheel over here. Massive toolbox. You can't be a mechanic unless you ain't got a toolbox, and these are all tools that I've acquired through the years, whether they're standard or metric. Pretty much everything we need, and similar to how I operate as a designer, I operate like a mechanic the same way, where everything is nice and neat. It's all organized on a professional way, from sizes to sockets to ratchets and the like, all the way through to smaller, delicate parts. And the whole toolbox is like that, every row that we have. And then from there, we have this mess that I made over here, which is my table, which I have to organize it. But given the pandemic, I've just been kind of moving stuff around the garage just to make way for it. But anyway, what we're going to be doing is, you see that big bad boy out there? Oh yeah. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what's going to drive me literally into the nut house. This is my 1966 Chevy Suburban. This used to be a school bus at one time, and I got my hands on it, and everything you see here is from me. So there's new fenders, new grill. Obviously they're from different trucks, because the ones that were originally on it were really, really rusty. But then what you see inside here, that heartbeat, ladies and gentlemen, that is a 327 vet block, which isn't designed to go too fast the way I have it set up, but it sure sounds nice when it wants to work. And currently it's not working because this bad boy right here, this thing that I'm touching, is the fuel pump, and that isn't working. So we're going to take that out today. So let me find my doctor's case. Where's the doctor's case? Oh, I brought it outside already. How about that? So the doctor's case is this little black bag that I have. Let me flip the camera around. This is a doctor's bag. And my rule of thumb is, if it doesn't fit in this bag, I should not be working on it at all. Because essentially everything that's in that bag has helped me take apart this truck, believe it or not. It's pretty compact. The truck doesn't have a lot of bolts to it. Has a lot of parts, but not a whole lot of bolts. And most of the bolts are the same size, meaning 3/8, 1/4 inch, 5/8, and so on and so forth. But let me go get my tripod so I can balance the camera and you can see me in action. So this is my assistant today. He really don't say that much, but he's great for holding the camera in place. So normally I put down a piece of cardboard like you see here, because as you can imagine, sliding back and forth on gravel can really hurt your back. And this also doubles as a sponge, so in case something should drip off or something should leak, the cardboard will catch it, so which helps me not feel guilty if the sink should drip oil and the like and make a mess. So I do my best to, be as responsible as I can outside. And like I said, I normally lay down a couple of cardboard boxes. We don't have to take any oil out of the truck today, which is a good thing. But I do have to change the fuel pump, which I said before. And the fuel, there's no fuel in it right now, so I don't have anything to worry about. But I figured I'd just share that with you so you guys know what kind of stuff I do, how I get it done. All right, people. So now you're going to see some of the magic. So this is actually part of the heater core. This is this radiator hose, and this radiator hose goes into the top of the manifold. This is the intake manifold, and this is the water pump. This is how you get hot air in your car. So basically this circulates through the radiator. This goes into my fan and heater that's up here, and these hoses is how the fluid transfers back and forth. So of course they're in the way, along with my fuel pump and my ground wire. So I'm gonna have to move some of this stuff and slowly and painstakingly get this wire out from the bottom here. And once I loosen it up, I should be able to twist it by hand. What's happening here? Awesome. See, normally things don't go this smooth, right? Normally it starts to give me trouble right away. But I think because I'm watching you guys, I'm looking all professional. But I'm normally not this smooth. All right, so we got the fuel pump off, or the fuel line off. And there's two lines to the fuel. There's one line that goes from the gas tank to the engine, or to the fuel pump. And then there's another one that goes from the fuel pump to the carburetor, which is this bad boy here. And this is my fuel line that's coming from the fuel pump to the carburetor. So let's see what kind of a trouble this line is going to give me. You know what? There's a bolt I got to take off of this. Give me a second. So we're going to step up with a miniature 1/4-inch ratchet set. What's great about this is that this bad boy is going to reach down, take out, or help me loosen up that bolt. Pretty simple. And you got this cool little switch right here that tells you if it's on or off. On meaning it's going to tighten the bolt, off means it's going to loosen it. Just snap it in there. Reach down with my extension on this. Loosen it up some. Cool. And just to be on the safe side, I have this big yellow pan here. I mentioned before I used a cardboard. I'm also going to use this catch pan just in case any extra gas comes out that can't be absorbed by the cardboard. And that's just pretty much going to go right underneath. And I just align it. And then from there, take the hose off. And voila. Hose is off. I'm going to rest it right here. Not touch it. And now, with that all done, all I need to do is remove the fuel pump from the block. All right, so got a couple things we have to do in order to get the fuel pump off. So I'm not sure if you can see it. There, this fuel pump has, let me see if I can guide it. Awesome. We have two different bolts we have to take off. One is kind of obvious. It's right here. And my finger's pointing. See if I can get it on the side. Yeah, there you go. That bolt. And there's another one on the opposite side. Now, before I ever take a bolt off, I want to make sure I have the clearance for it. And what you'll see here is a little socket. I'm going to put that socket on the bolt. And what I want to do is, once I put it in there, I want to see how much room do I have in order to put my ratchet extension on here, because it's going to be hitting the fuel pump. So it can be a little bit of a challenge. So with it already aligned here, that's not bad, right? Because funny, a thought comes to mind. It's really easy to take stuff apart. It becomes a problem when you have to put it back together. And if it's easy to take it off now, it might be a problem later. So I'm trying to see what my problems are going to be going forward. So this bolt out in the open is fine. But then there's the other bolt behind it. So let me see if I can get the camera. Yeah. And then this one back here. Now this is, beside the motor. And as you can already tell, it might be a challenge. So I'm going to sneak my hand down there. See if I can get it on the ball. Oh, wow. Actually, that wasn't complicated at all. It's already on there. You see it? Let's see if I move my hand. Right there. Got that on there. So, it shouldn't be too hard now to get this fuel pump off. So, let me put the camera back. And I doubt I can do it real time. Let's see. Oh, you might be able to see it. All right, cool. All right, let's leave it like that. And I'm going to first try it with my ratchet, along with a short extension. Put that on here. I'm going to make sure that it's undoing. And I have a little knuckle. See this? And this knuckle, what this does is it gives me a little bit of flexibility. So when I'm trying to take the bolt off, normally you have to keep it straight, but with a little bit of an angle like this, that slight angle could be the end of your trouble, because you can't bend metal without it wanting to break. Let me put this on here real quick. And A little twist, and boom, just like that. Got one to loosen. Now I don't take the bolt out all the way right out the gate. What I do is I loosen it up some, and then I go on the other side, and I loosen this one up, and I try to take them off at the same rate because you don't want all the pressure on one bolt. Especially, I mean, this probably wouldn't be a big problem because it's small, but other bolts, that could be a problem. There we go. All right, that didn't fight me too much. Special shout out to Pradeep. I'm expecting you, sir, to join me because I know this isn't your cup of tea. I don't have to ask Vajra or any other motorheads, but for you, sir, you need to come out here. I don't have to ask Jeff Robinson either. Special shout out to Jeff Robinson. I know he's probably working on his stuff. Hey, buddy, what are you doing over there?
Are you talking to yourself?
No, I got the video on. I'm sharing video with my friends to show them how Daddy breaks his knuckles when he tries to.
Can I do this video too?
Well, wait till I'm done. Yeah, we'll do the video together.
Hi, people who are watching the video.
I don't know if you can hear my son in the background, but he wants to be a part of this. I should have told him I'd bring him out here, but given what's going on, that's not going to happen. All right, so got my tools back. The fuel pump is still on, but it's loosened, and I should just be able to push on it. Boom. Now look at that. This is your inlet. This is your outlet. This is how the gas comes into the gas pump. It's a suction. This is what leads up into the carburetor in the back. And this trigger, as the cam is pushing it, makes that little sound. Imagine it's fluctuating at like 4,000 RPM. It's faster than you can even see it with your eye. And that's what's building up pressure to push the gas into the truck. Now, it's my suspicion that the reason why the carburetor or the truck is not getting any gas is because of this fuel pump. So our next step is we're going to go and we're going to take off all these screws underneath this here, and we're going to see if we can find the problem. All right, so have here on the table, here is the fuel pump. Put a little one-ton container. I'm going to take some of this week's coupons, and I'm going to spread this out because I don't mess up my table. Right?
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I have my little helper here, my little man Quinn, my son.
Hi, who's watching.
Well,
Hi.
you have to put your face underneath, so come over here. Okay, slide underneath. A little closer. They can't see you.
Yeah.
Ready?
Okay, so how should I do this?
All right, so we'll do this. I'll move the camera for you. There he goes.
Hi, peoples. Hi, peoples who's watching the video. It's me.
Quinn, you dance just like Daddy. That's awesome.
I'm gonna go find out, peoples. Bye. I'll come back in a little bit. I'll come back in 1 second.
Awesome. For all the watchers and listeners, expect those interludes to happen often. Anyway, all right. So here we are. Got my newspaper down. I put the newspaper down, obviously, to soak up any additional gas that's going to come out of this thing. We'll shake it out a little bit, and voila. So we have this here, and we'll turn the light on. Get a little bit more light, and the goal is to get this off right here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go back to my doctor's bag. I'm going to take out. Actually,
You have a doctor's bag?
yes, I do. But Daddy,
To help people be better?
well, not necessarily, buddy.
Oh.
All right.
Are you still recording?
Yes, I am recording.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to go with a small 1/4 inch ratchet setup. And all I'm going to do is just try to find the right piece. It's a little loose. Now, for most of you, the older trucks are specifically, or older vehicles are specifically all standard, meaning like it's 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. There's no metric with this. So I have two.
What does metric mean?
So metric is, remember how I said it's easier? You have 13 millimeter or 12 millimeter. Which is bigger, 13 millimeter or 12 millimeter?
13.
13 is bigger, yes. Now what's bigger, a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch?
A 1/4 inch.
No, 1/4 inch is like the size of a dime.
Oh.
1/2 inch is like the size of a quarter.
Oh.
All right, so finally, after all that digging. I finally got the right size. And you'll notice, you know what's interesting? You'll notice, or maybe you can't, a little bit of a wiggle. That's because this fuel pump is from this this generation, which means that it's probably metric. Now, metric and standard sizes will fit, but it's good to know that why it wiggles a little. Anyway, so here we go. Give it a little twist. Boom. Take this top part off, and I can already feel the diaphragm pushing, which means there might be junk in it. Let's move this out of the way. Move that out of the way. And you can't smell it right now, but the fumes are pretty strong. That's because
so
it's
why
all
can't
fuel.
you smell it?
Well, they can't smell it through the video.
Oh.
All right, so
Well,
take this screw
video?
off. Yes. And I'm going to take this off. And what I'm looking for is all the junk that's in there.
But I make videos too, like inside the house.
Okay. Now, one second. I'm going to take this.
Ooh.
And I'm going to pour.
What is that, water?
No, this is gas.
Ew.
Pour out the remaining gas.
Oh.
And what I already see in here.
Do you mean gas like your body?
Gasoline, buddy. No, not gas like out of your butt.
Oh.
No, you're silly. And what I already see in here is there's sediment inside of it.
Sediment mean?
Sediment is like dirt.
Oh. You mean dirt on the ground or not really?
Dirt, yes. So I'm just going to put this cap back on for the time being.
Is this your first video or
No,
something?
buddy.
Oh, okay.
You know it's not my first video. My first video with you, being silly. So I'm just going to tie this down. Now, in some cases, you have to use what's called a torque wrench. Because a certain pressure, yes.
You mean torquing like this?
No, not like torquing out of your butt. I know, you can't see what he's doing, but... You know what? I'm going to switch the perspective of the video because they may get a kick out of that with you, buddy. So I just tighten that down real quick. And you want me to change the video so they can see you?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do this, and there we go. So you're going to get a 2-for-1 deal, people.
Okay.
You're going to get me working on the fuel pump and Quinn doing his thing. All right, so now...
Oh, Master, where did you get that hat from?
Why?
Because I want to know.
What's the name of this team?
Your head's plugged into a
No, it's not. That's not the name of the team.
Hi.
All right, so that's a little loose.
Good.
Hey, man.
You got your hat from your mommy.
Quinn, what's the name of this team?
I can't see.
What's the name? You know the name of this team.
The fifth.
The what?
The fifths.
The Philths. Yeah, that's what Mommy says.
The fifths?
No, it's the Phillies.
Oh, I call it the fifths.
Yeah, well, no, Mommy likes to call it the Filthies.
Ew.
Thought you're being silly. All right, that's
You
too
mean
loose.
filthy like something's filthy?
Yes, that's what she
Like-
says.
Like your dancing?
No.
Okay, hi peoples.
All right. So what I'm going to try to do now is loosen up all these screws around the side here.
Ew. No. Then Mr. Dan, are you also going to post this video?
I might post a video.
Yay. On YouTube?
1 second. Yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to post it for. You remember Pradeep today? We saw him on the video.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, he's gonna see it, and some of Daddy's other friends are gonna see it.
Oh.
All right.
That's it. It's
What?
been 5 minutes now.
It has been 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes' time, what have we accomplished?
The only thing that I can see is Uncle Sean's car and Mom's car. That's the only thing that I can see.
No, accomplish. So when we accomplish something, that means what have we gotten done?
Well, I can't really see.
Well,
I'm just looking at Uncle
So
Sean's
no, here's
car.
what we got done. We took the fuel pump out of the truck. We set the video up, right?
Yeah, it's gone.
And we're showing people how to do this. Now, for those still watching, I'm feeling a lot of pressure on this. See that? So, a little bit of a safety. Remember earlier I said I don't like to take all the bolts off all at once? That's because,
Do you mean like
be careful,
robots?
buddy.
Do you mean like robots?
Like robots. This thing is probably going to push really hard when I unscrew it. And by the way, this is my first time doing a fuel pump, so I've never actually taken one apart.
It's your first time, yay!
Yes. All right. So there's one screw, and I'm going to stagger how I take the screws out.
Beep beep boom, beep beep boom. The Mister song. Lester, do you want to hear the Mister song?
Sure, let's hear it.
Okay. This is how it starts. Like the peoples want to see us. The Mister song. The Mister dance. The Mister is crazy. He is crazy, he's in the west, Perkins all die, mommy, and he always dances crazy, take the bay, he always dances like mommy, he dances like me, like I'm doing, he dances like me. Oh, Mister, he has been in this garage now for 100 hours, for 100 hours.
Okay, so I found a spring right here.
A toy spring, you mean?
Not a toy spring. Let me get the light. All right. That spring just kind of popped out as I was trying to take this apart. And as I look, I see nothing else in there. As a matter of fact, that may have been causing the issue. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can remove this spring from here. What I'm looking for is...
Can I say bye-bye?
Yes, Gwen, go ahead.
Okay, bye-bye, people. I'm going inside right now because I feel. And I feel a little high and it stinks in here. It smells like...
Like your butt?
No, it doesn't. Don't say that.
All right.
It smells like...
tweezer.
It smells like your burger nose.
And I have...
Okay, bye-bye, people.
There we go. That's the little screw. Okay, buddy. You really can't tell. Little video's a little bright. That's okay. Put it in there. And now, let's hear if there's anything wiggling, which there isn't. So I'm wondering if that may have caused all the problems. So now I'm just going to examine the pump itself, and you can see how it pushes. See that? That's how it pumps. How that little spring got in there is beyond me, but when I look inside of it, I just see one big spring in there, which is okay by me. And I'm going to put it back together, and let's see how this goes. All right. Rotor. And you know what? I didn't put a mark to say where this all came apart. Which I normally do that, but I didn't do it. However, because I know how the pump goes back together, I know that if this goes into the side of the block from here, this part goes into the block, my fittings are going to go just like this. And now that I see that I can modify this, I can actually twist this any way I want. which I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it as is, but it's good to know in the future that I can modify it. And from here, the challenge is going to be, how do I press this down into place? How do I compress the cushion and the spring in here so that I can screw it in correctly? And I have an option for that, because I'm an options kind of guy. And members on my team are going to know what this is, because we have one on our desk. We're going to use this vise right here. Just going to open it up a little bit. I'm going to get it to the size I need. Good thumb exercise. Awesome. Now I'm going to make sure that my springs are in place, my lines are in place, and I'm going to align it, just like so. And I see now with that aligned as such, I'm going to see if I can get the vise over it. Obviously we have to open up a lot more. Actually, this vise might not do it, given the fact, I might do it. Realizing that the mouth, this piece might not be deep enough to get to the center. So let's see. All right, I'm going to take this, try to one-hand it. You can see it'll definitely clear it. I just need to open the gooseneck a bit more. All right. And now I'm going to align it. I'm going to get it into the mouth. Awesome. And I'm just going to screw it down. Right. Just like that. Now it's snug.
Hi people, I'm back.
Right, I'm just going to keep it aligned, and this is where, nice if I had two people helping me. Again, if Pradeep was here, I wouldn't have these problems now, would I? All right. So that's somewhat in line, and I'm going to run the screw. And I'm going to have to bring this down even more. The screw needs more height applied. So let me see if I can bring it down. You can see it's trying to fight its way out of this, which has me a little nervous. I just have to align it better. Something else I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little screwdriver in here to help align it, because it keeps shifting. I'll show you what I mean. All right. Now, Jeff Robinson might like this. I'm going to use these two dartboard darts because they're thin, and I'm just going to slide them in here to help align this, so they keep them aligned. Actually, these are a little too thin, unfortunately. They're probably gonna fall out. That would have been a nice little trick. I'm sure Jeff, he's had similar things he's had to do with putting that in. But let me try something with a little bit more weight, a little bit more girth to it. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that'll work. So what that's going to do is that's going to help keep it aligned as I torque it down. And now, boom. So I have at least one aligned, and I can loosen up a little bit too if I have to, because it pretty much has it in place. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just looking down the hole, and I see that the rubber is aligned, at least on this one. So that is enough to allow me to take this and to put this inside. And just like that. Rubber's fighting me a little bit. There we go. And just like that, it's in. So I'm just going to torque it down just a little bit more, just because I want it in place. All right, awesome. That's one down. Now, if I loosen this up a little bit, obviously it's going to pop up, but I want to get another screw, and I'm probably going to go for a hole opposite of that to help align it, which means one like this. So if I loosen this up some, I know it can't go too far because one side's already screwed down. Try to get that in place. There we go. And this one in place. Let's see, this hole over here has a line for me, so I'm going to take advantage of that. Put this on this side. Screw this back in. There we go. Oh, special shout out to Monica. I need you to write me a user story on this and a couple of tasks, because I know Kamlesh is going to be asking, where am I putting all these hours to? What project is Joey putting this on? All right. Special shout out to Kamlesh. I see you, sir. I know you're watching. It's all good in the hood. I promise. I will add this to a user story, and to Carl, special shout out to Carl, I'll make sure that this all gets completed by today, my Yoda. See that? Look at that. All right, so now I got 3 screws in. I got 3 more screws I got to put in. This should be relatively easy at this point because I already have a few aligned. This one, I'm just going to push it through over here. And the real trick for this is going to be when I put it all back together, I'm going to get the proper spec, which unfortunately I didn't think to look for that, but I need the proper spec on the torque. So unfortunately you won't be able to see me put this back in the truck. At least not now. Maybe tomorrow if I get the time. Although, I don't know if I have any more billable hours for this. I'll have to ask Greg Creeder. Special shout out to Greg Creeder to open up the job ticket to allow me more hours to get my truck running. Because, you know, I'd expect me to get in to Tice. Right? Unless you want to come pick me up, sir. That might be nice. Of course, this last one's going to fight me a little bit. That's all right. We're going to figure that out in a second. This. There we go. And that's in. Like I said, just like that. Voila. So it may have been just a faulty spring that was causing that. I don't see anything else that could have done that. Those holes are closed. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to get the right size for this, right spec to torque it down. Torque all that down, and then we should be good. All right, people, that's it. I'm glad you guys got to see some of the stuff I do outside of the office.